Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fight Dawn of War Unification casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 3 vs 3 on Mortalis. Playing on Team 1 as the Tau Empire, we've got Frax. We've got Grindan playing as the Orks. And we've got Inferno 73 playing as the Steel Legion. Whereas on Team 2, playing as the Imperial Guard, we've got Eri 7889. We've got Yazoo 55 playing as the Space Wolves. And we've got one Kenobi playing as the Praetorian Guard. So Mortalis, a map for men, I do have to say, just all sorts of shenanigans happening with a big old bowl in the centre, with lots of fisticuffs and fighting. We've also got plenty of Imperial Guard factions being represented here, in the form of the Imperial Guard, the Steel Legion, and the Praetorian Guard here. Now, let's have a look at the teams. We've got the Orks over in the far side over yonder, and they've built a boys' hut inside of Frax's space. They've also gone for double generator site, assuming that they're going to go the quickest tier 2 known to man. In the hopes, although, mind you, double generators won't help you get into tier 2. As the Orks, they just need war banners. They're pure blue money. I suppose that will help you buy the vehicles when you do get into that inevitable tier 2. We've got the Tau over on this side, which will have quite a remarkable time against the Praetorian Guards, as they can just fire down over on this side. We are seeing the Blood Axe mechs coming straight out of the munition stores, so I assume you're going to go for the big shooters, take on any ne'er-do-wells. Although in a firefight against Tau, don't really reckon your chances. Blood Axe mechs will see them and decide to go glorious hand-to-hand combat, as is good and proper against those guys. Tau Commander on the way out as well. Got the horses from Inferno 73. I assume, yeah, they're going to a little bit of a double team going down over here and seeing if they can shirk off these Blood Axe mechs before then coming down and doing some damage themselves. Tau Commander jumping straight on over, attempting to take down that Ork bunker before it's even built. Thankfully, we've got the parole officer on the back line. Snow's going to be getting him anytime soon, allowing the convicts to take the brunt of the damage. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Space Wolves come over and defend some stuff. Might be an idea to... actually, I don't know, maybe. Because normally you would see sometimes the Space Wolves donate a strategic point or two to their allies, but since the big update of, what patch we're on now, 7.25, I can't remember the numbers, but you know, they're pretty good now. They can fight on their own, even with all their strategic points, not giving them that much money. It comes from all of the halls of knowledge. That's in the Wolf Lord, teleported straight down in. He's in the middle of the horses. Wolves beat horses in combat, that's how it generally works. A mighty sword to swish around, and the Ork bunker being finished, able to fire down big booms inside here. They're all in heavy cover though, so they should be alright. As many of these Tau Fire Warriors are causing some issues. Down over yonder, the Orks of Grindan, as well as some Grots as well, coming in for some extra stabbers up against the Guardsmen, but we do have the command squad of double priests actually. He's anticipating some close combat argy-bargy, and while double priests wouldn't normally see it, but in the wildness of 3v3s, all usual stratagems go out the window. You may as well do what you can where you can. It'll be quite hard to take on the Imperial Guard on this side. They are quite defensive, as is... I mean, it's probably a well-known fact by now. No point in me really explaining it all that much. Steel Legion not nearly as defensive, as they can't jump inside their buildings. They can still jump inside the listing post though. I've got that relay station on the go. Horses will have to come back for defensive reasons. The Slugger Boys can't do it all themselves. I've got some legionaries being battered and bruised by the double priest wombo combo. Seems over here that the Praetorian Guard, combination of irregulars, and wherever they... Have the Blood Axe mechs died? Yeah, they have died. It's a bit of an issue for them. We'll struggle against the forward motions of the Tau. Guardsmen firing their las guns at the oncoming Orks. Got the big mech waddling on over as the Imperial Guard. An ineffectual attack. They did manage to push the Steel Legion back a little bit, but not as far back as they would probably like. We're going to see some serious Space Wolf action to provide them some assistance. They are in tier 2 now. They're going to go for their long fangs, so attempting to outshoot the Tau. So we've got the Wolf Lord over here, doing what he can. Hide inside the regimental statues. Oh dear, avoid narrowly missing that bombardment from those statues there. A cheeky little listing post from the Tau being placed on the Praetorian's relic. Guardsman comes, provides some firing support, but the big mech teleports right in the middle of them with a healthy helping. Some Slugger Boys, so going to leave those guys, tie those lads up while the big mech chase after these guys. But Axe mechs doing what they can. This is quite a difficult defensive situation. It's basically a 2v3 at this stage. Space Wolves a little bit behind getting things going, but I do like how they've been shall we say recycling the Iron Priest. They've taken chunks out of their own buildings to get the scraps that they need to take up. When the Space Wolves come over, oh, a beautiful bombardment from the regimental statue, breaking the morale of those Rough Riders. Definitely need some assistance. Yeah, when that assistance does come, I reckon they'll be able to take them all back. Oh, fuck, Town Commander. Who killed you? Was that the... Oh, I see, you've gone for bomber squigs. Quite cheap, do a lot of damage to everything, although obviously they do explode and they will die. The Longfang's been able to be teleported in. Tower Fire Warriors don't think they've got the maneuverability to escape this. Another beautiful bombardment from the Praetorian Guard. Can more squig bombers come out before it gets exploded? Not quite, dear oh dear. But the irregulars can get their grenade launchers due to the munition store being built up. So they can provide at least some knockback on these Fire Warriors. Longfang's being tied up by the Big Mech and the Rough Riders. What an absolute back and forth already in the first 5 minutes of the game. Fire Warriors probably want to get out of there for those guardsmen. They've also got their grenade launchers as well. Oh dear, oh dear, a bit of friendly fire. What's a bit of friendly fire between friends, eh? Love the use of grots. Big fan of using grots in close combat, although the moment they go infiltrated, they stop being able to tie people up until they've been seen. Longfang's firing away at the last of the horses. So now quite a strong centerpiece of team... What number are you? You are team 2. Southern team, shall we say. Plenty of firepower in the form of those Longfangs and the grenade launchers. Also going for a couple of missile launchers to break down buildings. Orks have now got their mech shop, and I assume you've now got loads of... Actually, no, I was expecting you to get loads more green money at the beginning of your tier 2s. But that's alright, that's fine. Still enough to get a couple of war trucks and more tracks. I assume bomb chuckers on the war tractor would be the way forward. Oh no, oh bloody hell, you've just gone straight for tier 3, never mind me. It's gone for flash gates. Are now inside the tower base. Been slowed down by the Wolf Priest and his shouting ability, attempting to bring those flash gates down quickly as humanly possible. Managing to potentially survive. Yeah, just by the skin of the green chinny chin chin. War Boss making a flanking manoeuvre. Obviously a bit of barging close combat, but would much prefer him to be inside the squad, as he's not exactly the... Believe it or not, he's not exactly the tankiest of lords or commanders. However, what kind of terminology you'd like to use to classify them. Flash gates, one squad taken out over there. Boys are also being smashed up, so we'll need to rebuild that somewhere if they want more infantry. Firepower sorting them out. Just absolute chaos and carnage. War Boss now going to fall back to the loving embrace of the flash gates. Also, activate the fighting juice. Does that work on the War Boss? Is that every unit inside there? I assume so. As the Pain Boy doesn't need to be inside the unit to actually activate that ability. You can just throw it at people. So nice save from Grindan there. Plenty of firepower on both sides. Oh, wonderful placement of Burner Bomb, but Burner Bomb has been taken out. Very unfortunate. Would have been wonderful to force these guys back. Probably wouldn't have got them in time, but always good to give it a try. We've seen some wonderful Burner Bombs in the past. Here comes the Cyclops. I believe that you're also a big boomer as well. Yeah, just sends them on in. Seems to have done an incredible amount of damage, but we'll take it. Flash gets now leading the way. They've got more fighting juice being thrown at them. And a gun wagon, the Ork artillery, will be mighty fine at blowing up all these guardsmen. What's been teleported in? Is that another Wolf Lord? Oh no, that's more Longfangs. Yeah, I mean, if they've got lots of firepower and you can't get your vehicles nearby, well then just go for something a bit longer range. I do love, I don't know if I've shown you guys this before, but they've got a wonderful reloading animation once they fire. Oh, am I getting this mixed up? Oh yeah, they put like a little thing in there, and then they fire. Twice. I can't remember what vehicle does it, or whether it's in Unification or Ultimate Apocalypse, but there is one Ork vehicle where they do, like, literally just shove a squig into a gun. Oh, beautiful. Huge damage. It's the longest range artillery piece. It's kind of like the Praetorian Griffin Murtaugh in a way. Comes in close and look at, oh, just so many models, low health, allowing those flash kits to really mop them up very quickly. So a mighty push from the southern side. But I suppose the Praetorians have had to rebuild their stuff. Now we're going to go for the soldiers' mess rather than the Blood Axe encampment grounds. And you've gone for an anti-tank team. Still got the irregulars on the go. Need something to mop up those flash kits, but constantly having potential for those Mad Dogs to give them the fighting juice. Now we've got a Riser Pattern Hellhound getting an upgrade with the Devil Dog. Increased anti-vehicle stuff. Vehicle Forge on the way for one Kenobi. As the Guardsmen are just hiding with the Space Wolves. Power weapons on the way. They've got Power of the Warp and also Tier 3 coming online. Now if the Praetorian can get their very powerful late game vehicles for them, that will help them quite a tremendous amount, but I don't think you've got the money for it. No, you do not. So you're just trying to get out Hermes Pattern Sentinel, just anything really, just to show up. More Longfangs. Really, really going to take on these flash kits. Even if they could just tie them up in close combat would be remarkably good. And the focusing fire is happening. Bombardments on top of the Longfangs. The Gunwagon does go down from that assault, so that is something. Flash gets falling back by being slowed down by, I assume there's a Wolf Priest somewhere. Yeah, he's right there. Not a healthy charge, but does it. Big bomb. Quite get everything. In fact, actually kills the Mad Dog as well, but here comes the firepower. Here comes the boom, here comes the bang. Pushing the Northern team back from whence they came. At the moment, Steel Legion needs some more stuff. They've got the Manticore. It's interesting. I wasn't expecting the Manticore in this game, considering that the map is quite small, and a couple of flying units would be able to flank this Manticore quite easily, but I suppose until those flying units come online, may as well. Oh, you've also got the Hydra. It's insanely good damage against aircraft and all that good stuff. There's Griffin Motor, and you're just thinking, right, ignore all this stuff, just sod those Tau Warriors in general. I mean, you need revenge from earlier on, don't you? So fair enough. The Manticore is definitely the prize target for the Southern team. Can make a waste of heavy infantry super quick. Also does a fair bit of damage to vehicles and buildings as well, but obviously not nearly as much. Flashkit's now going to move onto the left-hand side. It seems like the Praetorian player is their, how would one describe it, their pummeling target. Put so much money and effort into taking these guys down, you may as well keep on keeping on, trying to turn it into a 3 versus 2 here. Plenty of Chimeras to absorb some incoming damage. Praetorian throwing down as much firepower as they can. One circumstance. Space Wolves bringing more fire to the Fury. That Wolf Priest just really, really enjoying a bit of combat. Knocks that Mad Dog up in the air. Has plenty of Stormclaw Terminators. Hold the line. Hydras doing what damage they can, but at least they're getting in the way of people trying to get to that Manticore. Huge boom being thrown by the Manticore, but the Stormclaw Terminators weather that damage quite nicely. We now also have Infinite Slugger Boys from Grindan, and a Stomper, of all things. That's the advantage of being in the back lines. As you can see, the Orks have teched up quite quickly. The Space Wolves have teched up quite quickly. So it's basically just who can bring out the biggest and baddest units. Huge electrical explosion from that Stomper as the Manticore is unabashed, unabated. Brings down that DPS. Grindan really being the hammer of the northern team. I've got to give you props to one Kenobi. He was beaten quite badly in the early game, but still keep... Oh dear, oh dear. That tank squad was a tank squad, or an anti-tank squad even. Now they're not. Now they are just red meat on the floor. Yeah, even though he's been battered and bruised for the entirety of the game, he's still providing some value, which is a damn fine, good usage. We'd like to see more than just Chimeras from every 7889. Although those Chimeras are providing fairly decent frontline wall, I suppose. He's not going to go for an air command, which is exactly what you need. You definitely need to throw some aircraft in there just to take on that Manticore. Cannot stress how important that is. Well, that being said, though, I mean, I suppose there's repairing units that could just come in and fix it up. So maybe need a bit of a fleet before you do anything else. Orks are now slowly but surely pushing down on the southern side. Brax is just focusing primarily on having a bunch of fire warriors for the moment. He's now going to go for some barracudas, which will make flanking with aircraft a bit more difficult. And that's just a lot of firepower storming on into the Imperial Guard's base. Even their defensive structures won't hold. Now you're going for anything else. You've gone for the Earthshaker platform. You need some friendly face to come on in. Well, they do have a infantry command over here. Still get their squads out. Most of our teams, anti-tank teams. A bit risky though. We have seen Manticore one-shot them, so they definitely need to get into firing range ASAP. Sluggers everywhere. That's a real problem when you go up against late game Orks. Even if they don't have any money, that's fine, because they could just throw fire and meat to the furnace, and Eri just says no thank you, this is not a fight for me to take part in. So they've got this infantry command over here though, so maybe he's being a bit coy. It's like, oh well, if I make them think that we've surrendered, that'll be a thing. Has a 55, now seeing if he can break down the tower player. After all, if it's now become a 3 versus 2, if he can knock out one of the other players, then it'll just become a 2 versus 2, and he might actually be able to do it. The cryo guns of the Stormclaw Terminators just melt it. Well, I mean, weirdly enough, the opposite of melting, freezing. It's freezing down the Cadre headquarters. No issues whatsoever. Although the Orks are now inside the, what do we call them, the Space Wolves base. They do have detection. Not sure what's giving them detection. I assume they've got some sort of commander in there. Maybe. Got stuff going on for them. That's the main thing. It's not over, baby. It's not over. If the Space Wolves can weather this storm, then come back to defend. They have taken the tower out more or less. The Orks are just sending things over and over. The battle wagon now, another powerful relic unit for the Orks. They've got so many options when the Orks get into the late game. And yeah, that's one way of doing it. Right, I'm just going to ignore everyone and just destroy everyone's big stuff. Steel Legion attempts to get Stormblade out. We've also got a Armageddon nuclear reactor. You destroy that, a big boom happens. Praetorian Guard holding the line very firmly. Well, they've lost their tank commander. Space Wolves losing the last of their structures here. Should be a bit of a pain. other people. We've lost a couple of players now. Who we lost? We've lost the Tau, which is something. Who did we just lose then as well? Was that the Space Wolves? It's still alive. Oh no, Evie just left. Okay. An attempt to break down that nuclear reactor. Don't know how big of that boom is going to be. Space Wolves just standing in the corrosive acid. Morale's been broken. It's not going to do that much damage. Last the Praetorian. They managed to get to tier 4. Good lord. What an absolute champion. Like I said, I mean, it's hard enough to stay relevant in the game when you've been battered and bruised so early, but then also getting it into tier 4. That's a remarkable achievement, all things considered. Oh, that was destroyed. Don't know whether it went big boom or not. I am not doing additional editing later on to include that because very busy this week. Last week before I go back to my day job, which is a time of great sadness in the Landshark household. The company HQ going to still bring out some convicts before the game ends. So what an absolutely fantastic game. Complete back and forth all the way through. Definitely hats off to Grindan for... I mean, obviously, it wasn't carrying necessarily because obviously had a very specific plan. Take up as quick as he can, bring the big boys out. So it was relying on the Tau and the Steel Legion for a lot of the legwork in the early game. And same with the Space Wolves down here. They were just taking up as quickly as they can and making sure that they were providing some assistance as and where they could. But obviously, I think that, yeah, having to spend a lot of resources making sure that the Praetorian Guard weren't snuffed out in the early game probably cost these guys and these guys a little bit more economy and time than they wanted to. And that just allowed the Orks to steamroll into a victory. So thank you so much, boys, for sending this game into the Discord. And if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you once a game a week. And there is also Discord, where Discord things happen. Links in the description as always. I've been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure as always, never short. Now, we'll see you in a bit. Peace.